Yeah. Oh, Harry Thomas. Such an honour, sir.
Who are you?
Dobby. Dobby the house elf.
Not to be rude or anything, but this isn't the best time to have a house elf in my bedroom when I'm about to do a review. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Now, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, second film in the Harry Potter series, second film to be directed by Chris Columbus and Steve Kloves returning in the screenwriter's chair. Now, the Chamber of Secrets had the task of expanding the Harry Potter universe and improving over the first film, The Philosopher's Stone, and keeping up with the Pottermania at the time. But did the Chamber of Secrets achieve this? Well, I can gladly say yes. The Chamber of Secrets is an improvement over the Philosopher's Stone in every aspect. This is, of course, Chris Columbus's second attempt of directing Harry Potter, and he is much more confident this time round in the director's chair than he was directing Philosopher's Stone. He knows more what he's doing. He and Steve Kloves even does an improvement on screenwriting over his first time. I mean, of course, the first two Harry Potter films, Chamber of Secrets and Philosopher's Stone, they are extremely faithful to the book. They even copy and paste a lot of lines of dialogue from the book and are made purely for fans of the book. But of course, the films would change and get more darker and more complex and more different from the book as they went along. So I can see why movie fans would consider the first two films in this series to be the weakest, but book fans would consider the first two to be the best. Well, I agree with the movie fans because I'm just more of a movie person. I mean, first two Harry Potter films, this and Philosopher's Stone, were made at a time where they clearly didn't know where the series was going, as Harry Potter is the only film series so far based on a book series to be made before the book series has been complete. So until they read Deathly Hallows, they didn't know where the hell the story was going. But giving us a hint of where the story was going, it still did a brilliant job. And the movie starts out with Harry at the Dursleys, and he's been told to go up to his bedroom as Vernon has an important meeting with the Masons. And then we see one of the most beloved characters in this franchise, Dobby. I love Dobby. Dobby is adorable, he's badass, and he's come to warn Harry not to go back to Hogwarts this year because there's a terrible plot that will put him in danger. But Harry, of course, doesn't listen, and Dobby, the little bugger, he gets Harry barred to his window by Vernon, but luckily Ron, Fred, and George in a cool ass flying car save him and take him to his home, the Burrow. This is the first time we see the Burrow, and it's wonderfully designed. It's so cozy. I'd love to live there. Why doesn't Harry live with the Weasleys? They take so much better care of him than the horrible Dursleys. And also the first time we see Arthur Weasley, played by Mark Williams. We didn't really see Ron's dad in the first one, where we saw his mum, of course, and in this movie we see Ginny Weasley, who become Harry's love interest. Now, Ginny Weasley, we saw one scene with her in Philosopher's Stone where she had one line of dialogue, but here she gets much more development, much more screen time, and hints that her and Harry will fall in love in the future. And Bonnie Wright, perfect casting. Bonnie Wright deserves more work. I haven't seen her in anything else but Harry Potter. And then the Weasleys give Harry flu powder, and Harry accidentally ends up in Knockturn Alley, dodgy parts of Diagon Alley. But then Hagrid luckily finds him. They meet Gilderoy Lockhart, who will be their new Defence Against the Dark Arts teacher, who's considered a legend, but we find out later that he's a fraud. And we also meet in this movie another great new character, Lucius Malfoy, played by Jason Isaacs. He's this arsehole dad who is completely prejudiced against Muggleborns, like most pureblood wizards are. And of course, we find out that he puts Tom Riddle's diary in Ginny's cauldron, and he was plotting to open the Chamber of Secrets to bring Voldemort back. Now, well, Harry and Ron, they have a bit of a bumpy start getting to Hogwarts. Dobby blocks the entrance to platform 9 3/4. Then they have to take the car. Then they get trapped in the Whomping Willow, and they get in big trouble when they arrive. Thankfully, they don't get expelled, but they both receive detention, just like Harry receives detention with Lockhart signing his letters for 4 hours. And we get a couple of lessons which are kind of filler, really. We didn't really need them. I mean, the scene where Professor Sprout is teaching us to grass mandrakes, we didn't really. It was fun, but we didn't. Wasn't really necessary to the plot. And again, the scene with the Cornish pixies, well, actually, that had some point to it. I mean, it got Matt Lewis's Neville Longbottom to say his classic line, "Why is it always me?" Because poor Neville, he is always the one who's considered the loser. But and and then Harry sees he hears this voice in Parseltongue, and he sees this blood on the wall. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies at the air beware. And we see Filch's cats are petrified, and the mystery begins. Who is who is going around petrifying everyone? That was just very frightening for me as a kid. This movie is definitely darker, scarier, and more exciting and more mature in tone than Philosopher's Stone ever was. And then and then we get a more confident, much better Quidditch match. Now, this is probably my favourite Quidditch match in the whole series. It's so much fun seeing Harry dodge the ball that Dobby jinxed, and competing with Malfoy as the Seeker. Yeah, Harry and Draco's rivalry is definitely better focused on here than it was in Philosopher's Stone. But Harry sadly breaks his arm and has to go to Hospital Ring, and he discovers it was all Dobby that's been behind all this, and he rightfully gets angry. But Dobby, bless him, he's just trying to protect Harry and keep him safe. And then we find another casualty, Colin Creevey, or as Nigel, as they call him in the later films, has been petrified, the one who takes cameras, and they realise Hogwarts is no longer safe, the chamber has, and the monster has been unleashed. And of course, we then get another scene where Malfoy's being a dick, where he calls Hermione a mudblood, and Ron rightfully gets pissed and tries to use an eat slug spell, which only backfires, and the poor guy's throwing up slugs. And when Hermione tells Hagrid that Draco called her a mudblood, Hagrid explains to the trio that some wizards like the Malfoys think they're better than everyone else just because they're pure blood, which shows and explains Voldemort's prejudice towards the purebloods. And yeah, Voldemort is one of the followers, of course, and believes of Salazar Slytherin that there should only be a race of purebloods, and all half-bloods and muggleborns should be extinct, which is pure evil, kind of like Hitler wiping out the Jews. And this, yeah, that's another way this movie expands upon the Harry Potter universe, that we goes much deeper, that we never got in the first film. And the dueling club scene where Harry duels Draco, it's great seeing Draco get his ass kicked, and Harry for the first time speaks Parseltongue to this snake, and everyone's like, "Whoa, Harry, you're creepy. We don't like you anymore." And we then learn that Dumbledore has a phoenix named Fawkes, who becomes important in the story later on. And luckily, Dumbledore believes Harry's innocent, and he's not the one attacking the Muggleborns. And then we get introduced to Moaning Myrtle, such a great character, who she's the girl who apparently who was believed to be killed in the bathroom all those years ago when the chamber was first opened. And Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they have to find the heir of Slytherin, so they brew Polyjuice potion. They become Crabbe and Goyle, while Hermione sadly becomes a cat, and they go into the Slytherin common room to talk with Draco, but it turns out Draco is not the heir of Slytherin. He knows nothing about it. So, but at least after that, Harry finds Tom Riddle's diary, and which takes him back 50 years ago, and when the chamber was first opened, and it frames poor Hagrid for the crime. But it turns out after Hagrid's been arrested by Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic, Harry and Ron go into the Forbidden Forest, and we get this outstandingly creepy scene. And the puppet for Aragog is brilliant. I've seen it, by the way, and it looks like a real spider. It freaked me the hell out as a kid. I can see why it did Ron. And he tells them that he's not the monster. He was framed for the crime when the monster was unleashed. And before his sons and daughters can devour our two boys, luckily the Carve comes and rescues them at the last minute. And then when they learn Ginny's been dragged into the chamber, they get Gilderoy Lockhart's help, who they discover he's a fraud at this point. They open the chamber through the bathroom, and Gilderoy accidentally wipes out his memory and becomes so stupid. Harry opens the chamber, confronts Tom Riddle, who turns out to be Voldemort in a shocking twist, and reveals he's the heir at Slytherin. He's the one who controlled Ginny and told her to open the chamber. Harry battles the basilisk with the sword of Gryffindor with the help of Fawkes and kills it. Then he stabs Tom Riddle's diary with Basilisk Fang, and it's later found out in the Half-Blood Prince that that is, of course, one of Voldemort's Horcruxes. Spoiler alert. And then, so our heroes escape the chamber, and Dumbledore rewards Harry and Ron for their services to the school. Then we find out that Dobby is serving the Malfoys, and Harry frees Dobby by giving him a sock, and Lucius gets pissed, and we get one of Dobby's best, most badass moments where he zaps Lucius, and and uh, and Harry asks Dobby to never save his life again, to which Dobby happily agrees, and later on we see that all the kids who were petrified are back to normal, thanks to Hagrid and Professor Sprout's flesh-eating slug repellent, and even Hermione's back to normal. It's such a happy ending. Yeah, Chamber of Secrets probably has the happiest ending of the films. It's such a relief after all that's happened, and even Hagrid gets free from Azkaban, and they all stand up and cheer for him. Oh God, it made me tear up. So that was the Chamber of Secrets, and yeah, it's certainly not the best Harry Potter film by any means, but it's the one I used to watch a lot as a kid, so it's very nostalgic to me, and I agree it is a definite improvement over Philosopher's Stone and gets fans excited. Where is the series going to go next? I love the much darker, more mature tone than Philosopher's Stone, while still keeping the fun, light-hearted, playful tone for the younger viewers, and it still stays very faithful to the book to keep book fans happy while making a few changes. Obviously, they rightfully removed Nick's Death Day party and a few other scenes, but yeah, this movie is a little too faithful to the book at times. It is a little long. It could have removed some unnecessary scenes and to improve the film's pace, but other than that, it has some great. Other than that, it's a great family film. Like Philosopher's Stone, has plenty of iconic moments. It has Dobby, the flying car, the best Quidditch match in all the films, Harry, the dueling club, the Aragog scene, Harry's battle with the basilisk. The list goes on. And it's also the one where Harry realizes that it's not our abilities that make us what we are, it's our choices. And this movie was, of course, the last time we'd see Richard Harris as Dumbledore, as he would be recast as Michael Gambon in The Prisoner of Azkaban and onwards. Now, Richard Harris gave a great last performance as Dumbledore before he was replaced by Gambon. But I love the fact that after Chamber, the series would take a much needed darker turn. And also in this movie, the three main actors are given improved performance over the first film. They're even more confident and are even more into their characters this time. Well, they were great in the first film, considering that was their first film, but they're even better here. In fact, the new characters in this movie are brilliant as well. Dobby, Gilderoy Lockhart, Lucius, and Tom Riddle. Yeah, we learned a lot more about Voldemort and a lot more about aspects of the Harry Potter universe that we didn't get in the first one. So overall, The Chamber of Secrets is a great sequel, more than worthy sequel and follow-up to Philosopher's Stone that I loved as a kid and still love now. My only issue is it does have pacing issues and could have cut a couple of stuff out, but other than that, it's not the best Potter movie, but it's certainly not the worst. I give Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets 4.5 stars out of 5. And I'd also like to point out that this is the last Harry Potter film to have golden subtitles, because all the others were silver after this, and this was, of course, the penultimate time John Williams would score this franchise, because his music is just beautiful and kick-ass. Anyway, guys, so what do you think of the Chamber of Secrets? Whatever you think, comment down below, let me know, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.